up at random, necessitating the establishment of the Time Police. As if prosumer time travel wasn't already enough of a problem, the technology powering the unimaginable future is now in the hands of those who should have it least: politicians. Coworkers now biff the time-space continuum on the reg, and you constantly are going back in time to stop yourself from being assassinated. At the very least, you cannot travel to the future because it hasn't happened yet. Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, in the past future world of Peter, how do you say his last name? Hyams? In the past future world of Peter's time.
Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, a podcast about movies whose futures have passed. I am one of your hosts, Joey Reinish.
I'm Kyle McVeigh.
And joining us today, you may remember him from Action Climax and various other episodes of shows that Kyle and I do. We have Matt Loman.
Hey.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me.
We thought
What a
we'd have
pleasure.
an action movie expert on for this action movie extravaganza.
Well, I mean, one of my big things I'm on is the policing of time.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you guys invited me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's good.
We knew that one thing about you.
It's going faster and faster. It
Yeah.
almost seems too fast.
Yeah, truly.
Have you seen this before this?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't.
Yeah.
This is your first time seeing
Yeah,
Timecop?
this is like this season of episodes in particular are almost all movies I have not seen.
That's crazy.
Except I saw Children of Men before, obviously.
Oh, sure.
But like most of the
But
other
Timecop
ones.
is like prime USA, TBS, TNT.
It is that
like-
era, the video
yeah.
store era.
It's,
And
it's literally Van Damme's most successful movie.
really?
I guess it is, right? Because then I was
about
looking
Street
at
Fighter?
He's only had two break the 100 million barrier. It's this and the first Universal Soldier.
Okay, Universal Soldier. I remember
first
being
Universal Soldier. It was funny. I was looking up the director of this.
Good. You mean
Big
Peter
P.
Hyams?
Big P. as we
Stay
like to call him.
tuned.
PH.
Well, he did a bunch of others. Van Damme. He did Sudden Impact or Sudden
Sudden
Death.
Death.
Sudden Death, the
Off-
hockey one.
Off the success of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They're like, we got to get the band
He
back
just did a
together.
brand new one. He did a very recent one with him.
With Van Damme?
Yeah. What was it? Oh, thank God I still had it. Enemies Closer. Not really recent. That was 2013.
See, time is going faster
Yeah.
and faster.
He also directed The Relic, which is actually not bad.
That's not bad. But I
Anyway.
put the only one because I did the notes for this episode.
Yeah.
I put the one that's important.
His three movie run is Stay Tuned, Time Cop, Sudden Death, The Relic. Well, that's a 4-movie run.
That's pretty good.
Most 50% Van Damme.
Stay Tuned is like one of the movies that I can be like, that movie is why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
It's like Stay
'Cause there's
Tuned
a pervert in
and
it.
death becomes a pervert in Stay Tuned.
Wait, is it
The devil?
wait, no, am I thinking? Yeah, it's the
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
whatever
It's
his name is?
that pervert
The
from
pederast.
Ferris Bueller. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't know
Yeah,
it
the
then.
principal.
Yeah.
I didn't know it then.
No, none of us knew.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So
very few knew.
he's a good devil still.
great devil, actually.
You know.
It actually makes it better.
Yeah. Stay Tuned's a fucking good movie. I mean, almost as good as Timecop. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Yes.
Mia Sara, who's awesome, and I don't know a ton of movies she's in.
Like, wasn't in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
She was-
It's
she
just
stopped
Ferris
acting?
Bueller, and then
Legend.
yeah, I don't think she's been in a ton of other stuff.
She stopped acting, and she hadn't acted since 2013,
Dang.
and then only just recently got in some that's still in post.
Whoa.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's good she's coming back.
I'd cast her in something.
Ron Silver as the shitty McComb, and Bruce McGill, who's in everything.
Yeah. It's always nice to see him.
It's one of my favorite character actors.
He's just in
Always
everything.
always FBI, always head of some department,
Yeah.
always put out.
the head FBI guy in Collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out what's going on. But my favorite is the one that always blows people away. She's like, he was D-Day in Animal House.
Oh, he
Really?
fucking was.
He's the guy who rides the motorcycle up the stairs and then plays the William Tell overture on his throat.
He was that guy.
They stopped the movie for 45 seconds for him to do that, and everyone's like, "Whoa!"
That's something they discovered like at a crew lunch, and they're like, "We got to do it. We got to have you do
Put
it.
it in the movie.
Put it in.
The script's 17 pages long, so we got room.
We got so much room."
Wow, that's good. He's awesome. He's just like that guy in every movie, but
Yeah.
like I didn't know his name.
We're
until,
missing
now.
those guys. Like we talk about all the time that it's like, oh, we're really missing like
Everyone's
Tom
beautiful.
like Tom Cruise is like the last like real big A-list star. I'm like, we're also just missing these guys.
Yeah.
Who are our FBI agents in every movie now?
Well,
like
well, now it's like you look at a show, like you look at like an old show from like the 90s, and you're
Yeah.
like, all the extras and like everyone's boss and stuff, they look like people who pay bills.
yes.
Yeah.
And then now it's like every FBI agent is like a minor league version of Carl Urban.
Yes,
like, no,
everyone's
you're
too
too-
beautiful.
yeah.
Oh, it's like it like yeah. Now it's like the Fast and Furious. They're like, who's your FBI agent? It's like Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
why?
The new Fed bumming them out is Reacher. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, who's the new evil Fed? It's fucking Reacher, who's the size of a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy who played the fucking sheriff in My Cousin Vinny's just like out of work.
Which is horse shit. Well, it's like even the guy in Fast and Furious is a great example of this because they used to have those guys because there was the agent that used to be Paul Walker's partner
Yeah,
who,
his handler.
yeah, the fucking runner was that he'd get his fucking nose broken every time. And that guy looks like a little rat.
Yeah, but that guy's also Shea Wiggum.
Yeah, I know, but he's also a little rat.
I
He's
don't
great.
know any of these names.
Shea Wiggum is like he's a great character actor. You would recognize him
He was
immediately.
in Vice Principals. You watched Vice Principals?
I did.
He's the stepdad that like really likes Kenny Powers, and Kenny's always telling him to go to fuck off. He was in Kong Skull Island. He's the dude who almost
don't-
had the heroic moment with the grenades.
I don't think I saw that one.
You-
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
his
And then
tail
it didn't
whipped
go up.
into the hill.
Yeah.
He's just like one of those guys that when you show up, you're like, excellent,
yeah.
good.
Oh, good character actor Shea Wiggum.
Yeah.
So I hadn't done a rundown in a little while, and this
Yeah.
one was really tough to do a rundown of in terms of the A to B to C of the plot because, it's time travel and time rules.
Oh, did it bake your noodle a
It
little
did
bit?
a little bit. Having to do it in 2 sittings didn't help. But let me read through my attempt at a plot synopsis real quick.
For the people that are insane and did not watch this movie before listening to this.
Yeah. So after the attempted assassination, which is not evident at the beginning, is that this movie is a circle,
Yeah.
Looper style or whatever. It's after the attempted assassination of himself and the successful assassination of his wife, Max Walker joins the Time Enforcement Commission and becomes a time cop, which is the name of the movie. He does not once think to use the technology to go back and stop his wife from being murdered.
He actually does think that.
In his case, foiling a megalomaniac politician forces him to do it. Don't ruin my bit, Kyle. After stopping numerous biff attempts of McComb and his never-ending pile of goons, Walker ends back at the beginning, saving his wife and himself by pushing McComb into McComb and watching them melt into a digital goo ball.
Amazing.
Despite dramatically changing his life and the life of a powerful political figure who is going to become president, Max goes back to the future to find all the previous time changes reverted and his wife and child alive and happily ever after. This movie has my favorite version of time travel, which is like everything you do matters. But if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you're like, none of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's time travel.
It's the perfect like, oh, what's that gonna do? But like this movie is like they're gonna turn into a goo ball. Like,
Yeah, well, that was the thing is they kept like the rules for this, which is one of my favorite things about time travel is how like people suss out time travel rules. Looper being the best one where they're like, don't worry, we're not even gonna tell you about it, which is very wise.
Yeah.
But this one is that you can't go into the future because it hasn't happened yet.
Quote unquote, it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, which is like you said in the intro, like, but we're almost certainly someone's past. So it's like
We are not the needle point of the record of time here.
Yeah.
Like anytime someone says that's the Chekhov gun of this movie that never comes into play. Like what should have happened in that last final house standoff is another JCVD comes back from
a third.
Yeah, from like 2080. And he's like
he's like,
grizzled
"I'm
and
really
cyborg.
fucked up."
Yeah. Like he's got robot arms and stuff. He's like, we have to stop this from happening.
Well, to go with your point of we're not the needle point, we're not the fulcrum at which the universe goes around. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm his partner, if I'm Atwood in 1929, I'd be like, no. I'm from an alternate future. I'm supposed to do this. Matuzak said, you have to leave me alone or double Hitler comes to power.
It just like
That would give you enough time to bring in more goons.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
more 1930s goons that have never seen martial arts and get rocked.
They were trained before the invention of splits and kicking. Look, and they had no chance.
No one's ever been flexible in all of history at that point.
if you run in and like you're not expecting it and someone pulls a splits on you, you're not gonna know what to
My
do.
ass is not putting brass knuckles on and thinking that's gonna work. That's for fucking sure. A heavy thing to slow my fists down?
Could you imagine that,
Idiot.
that guy going to the hospital? It's like, I've never seen anything like it.
He was moving like a little predator.
It's like he beat me up by walking. They used his legs. What the hell?
He flowed like water.
He could dislocate both his legs and put them flat on the ground.
I don't think he had a dick.
I don't think
I don't think he had a dick.
he was 5'5" and dickless and he rocked me.
I tried to electrocute him with a lamp. Nothing.
Nothing. He's impervious to
That
electricity.
always works.
He never threw every punch with maximum effort, completely turning his body with every swing.
I think he kissed me. I think he gave me a gentle kiss on the cheek before he just drop kicked my face.
That whole like I kind of like the way that this movie starts, where it's like there's the Civil War era robbery with a machine gun. And then,
It's a cool ass intro.
like
Yeah.
back and forth, like
Yeah.
through time, and then we hit 1920s Wall Street, and a guy like has the only time crime that I'm really aware of, aside from going back and killing someone, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is
Get
I have
rich.
information from the
Yeah.
future. I'm going to use it to get rich, and this guy ends up being like a former partner of
Yeah.
his who has a newspaper of stock prices.
The only future newspaper ever in movies, USA Today.
It's
Right.
the only one that was available across the entire country
Yes.
in the 90s.
That's what it feels
That's why it
like.
always, no, but that's why it always shows
Is it
up in the
actually,
movie.
was it the only countrywide like newspaper?
Yeah, I mean,
like
like,
national-
you could get like the New York Times, but I mean, this is before Amazon was like, we'll get your stuff in like,
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
like your New York Times on the West Coast was probably going to be a little behind,
yeah.
but like
That's
USA
buck
Today,
wild.
yeah, I bet that was probably why they always used it. It's like
Yeah.
everyone can get access to it.
And
I
it
mean,
was the year because this is a future that our future in this is 2004, right? So like on the paper,
That's
that
the
was
needle
the
point.
2004. Yes, that is our pivot
Yeah.
for all of time.
Time
is 2004.
is currently 2004. Everything is dealing with, I believe it was 1994, right? Is that when we
Yeah, I
went
think
back?
that's when Mia Sarah dies, right?
And his house
94.
blows up
It's
and
10
he's shot.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough time for him to grow like a graying mullet.
And
Yeah.
for his wife to completely not recognize him because of the
No one
mullet.
recognized them.
Who are you?
There's
And
two
he just
things.
has like a little bit poofier
His English
hair.
has gotten worse, and she's
people don't recognize people who are only like just 10 years removed that
Yeah.
they've known for years.
Yeah.
And then also when people come back to a future they weren't expecting,
yeah.
no one clocks it. Like every time Van Damme came back, it's like, yeah, everything. I kind of forgot what happened to him. and the head of the Time Enforcement Commission's like doesn't even clock he's acting weird. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, he says all of the most suspicious. That
Yeah.
sequence was like he's saying all of the most suspicious something happened back in time thing, and the head of the time crime unit is like not.
Well, in
hearing
this
it.
version
Have a
of the
great day.
Yeah.
in this version of the time crime or the timeline where this has happened,
Yeah.
they don't have those guardrails. Like it's just
I fucking guess.
no one came up with the idea that maybe if someone comes back and is super disoriented, something changed.
Yeah.
They-
Maybe
yeah.
we should brief people when they come back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they didn't think about of like if something did change, we would be changed. Like you would need
Yeah.
to have some sort of pre and post briefing and like some sort of
You have to go through history class before and after.
well, like some sort of situation where you're like, oh, we should probably ask these sorts of questions, and if someone's acting like this, something probably changed.
Yeah,
Like, hey, we're best friends. It's like, fucking, are we, dude?
Like, what was the mission he got sent back for that the final Matsuka thought he was like, yeah, did you stop them from getting that dirty bomb in 1906? Before I answer that question, could I have access to a history book or the internet?
What the fuck is the
What's
internet?
the internet?
God damn it.
Fuck!
That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it freeze frames on his face just going,
Oh.
Actually, I mean, knowing what we know now in 2024, probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Honestly, not bad.
good. All right, everybody change nothing from now on.
It's probably best if the world never connected easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many weirdos. They don't need to find their people.
But that was I was just to finish out the rules idea. You can't go forward.
Right.
And that hasn't happened yet. And then the only other big rule is matter.
Touching.
Yeah,
No
no,
matter
touching.
can
No touching.
exist in the same.
The
no-
same matter cannot
can-
exist in the same space.
Yes.
Okay, but aren't we new people every 7 years?
I
Like, all
literally
your
had
cells
this exact
died,
thought.
Oh,
replaced.
yes.
Like Ship of Theseus style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're technically, yeah, we
New
have
matter.
total cell replacement. Well, this is like they mention it offhand that every single agent, anytime they go back, is in danger of running into another version of themselves, which
Especially
I think
when they go to the same city they live in.
well, this is also the other thing. I think that's also insinuating that we're assuming that there's also obviously that they're operating in the future and sending, like, they could run into future versions of
Yeah,
themselves.
that's what I'm saying.
Like, it's
I'm from 2016.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be here.
yeah. No, you're fucking up. I'm fixing what you did.
Yeah, no,
idiot.
I'm supposed to do this to the stock market. It's okay.
Like
No, I caused the crash. That's the point.
There's a fun version of the movie where like they just play with that and it gets super convoluted and makes
Yeah.
no sense. That feels like Timecop mixed with Primer almost.
I think there's a very funny version of that too.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's just like you said, more and more future versions of Van Damme, because this is like the fulcrum point of his whole life.
And then he suddenly comes back and he's like a dog man for some reason.
I
You're
feel
just
like this is how they created the one with Jet Li, where they're just like, it's supposed to be a time travel movie, and they're like, I just want to do different Jet Li's.
All right, Jet,
All
that's
right,
fine,
we'll
whatever,
do,
dude.
all right, we'll do a multiverse.
What if Jet Li had multiple Jet Lis?
What if there were more of me? Okay, cool.
what this movie presupposes?
What if there's a dog version? All right, we're gonna leave that one out, Jet. We don't have to do that.
There's a blonde me.
There's a blonde me.
There's a dog me.
There's a redhead me.
I'm out of ideas, guys.
That's it. Done. Samurai? I don't know.
Long hair, short hair. I mean, really, the sky's the limit hair wise.
Mostly hair. Mostly hair.
Everyone else get in here. I feel like I'm the only one pitching ideas.
There's the way that they monitor time
Yeah.
issues. I wrote it down because they had a name for it. The disturbance monitoring the continuum from 1804 to
Yeah.
2004, which again is current. 2004 being the needle point.
We're only 18.
That's what I was wondering.
1804, yeah, I don't know.
They're like, there's no
There's
reason,
no reason
to go back
further.
further.
Well, because they also dropped that little tidbits like, there's activity outside of Camp David, 1979. Probably Iranians again. You know, it'd be a great time for an Iranian kill team to go back with like automatic weapons and RPGs, like 1760.
yeah.
It'd be an awesome time to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's the same. Well, that was another thing that I clocked. I was like, oh, Iran has time travel. Everyone has
Everyone
time. That
has it,
means
yeah.
every developed nation is definitely have time travel.
McComb is using a prototype, right? That's how he's
He's
able
using
to
the
do.
original one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it took him all of 5 seconds before he's like, yes, I'll be in charge of this.
Okay.
New
Yeah.
Can we talk
agency."
about that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, where the
Yeah.
head senator, the head of the commission of
Yeah.
covert affairs,
Yes.
okay, someone from the White House
Yeah.
comes in and says, I speak for the president.
Yeah.
I speak for the executive branch
Yeah.
of our government. Time travel is real. We need $1 trillion in
Yeah.
guys with guns.
Yeah.
Okay. And this guy's like, whatever. Like,
He was like, oh, come on now.
like,
Yeah.
like, even if you thought it was stupid, even
Yeah.
if you're like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are smoking, snorting,
Yeah.
or injecting directly into your brains.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
He could not be more bored. He's like, I gotta go talk to some lobbyists
I'm going to give it to another guy.
about hookers and steaks.
Yeah.
Like, you guys here, let's give it to this guy. Let's get sleazeball next
Yeah.
to
Let's give it to the guy with an evil voice.
yeah.
Where he's just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I'll take care
I'll
of it.
oversee that immediately. Like before that meeting's over, he's like, I know.
It's like hard for me to not believe that a senior senator wouldn't be like, I will be the most powerful
Yeah.
man in the world.
Yeah.
Why would I not immediately be like, I will give oversight to this commission? Like
Yeah.
that guy couldn't be. He just honestly, actually, now I kind of get it. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with it.
I think
like,
anyone-
at worst, they're lying and weirdos, and like I don't know what's going on over there. At worst, it just seems like a pain in the ass.
Well, I think it should be that rule of like anyone who volunteers to do that should not get to do it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
you're right. Yes, yeah. Oh, I'll do it. I'll watch over it. I'm very eager to look over
And
all
you're
of
out.
time.
You're
yeah.
out forever.
And you can actually never be in a briefing about this.
Well, okay, and also there's no psychological testing. Like, don't you think like
Yeah.
I would absolutely go back in time and abuse this power?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that show up on the psyche eval?
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit.
Well, also the recruiting that they go through is literally they're just like, we are actually just gonna recruit cops.
Yeah.
No.
Why wasn't this run
You
through like the Air
do
Force?
not.
This should
Yeah.
have been a Stargate situation.
Yes. Absolutely.
Kurt Russell and James Spader should have been there.
Yes.
Well,
You don't hire Washington D.C. policemen
Yeah.
to literally be time cops.
Not even the chief of police.
Yeah. No, not at all. Insane. That was the other thing. Like, yeah, and this the chief of police will
This is Commander Matusak. So not the chief, just
the commander.
just the guy high up.
Yeah. And also he knows nothing about history
Or science.
or anything. It's like, okay.
character actor. He needed to be there.
Can he even do the splits?
He can't, which is, I imagine, why Van Damme got in there. Because they were like, well, if we're going to recruit someone, we need at least one guy that
We
can
need
do
a
the
split guy.
splits.
Yeah. Well, okay. If they have this meeting and they need to be taken serious,
Yeah.
this meeting never goes this way. Because if time travel's real, tomorrow they're going back and changing that meeting to have somebody bubble in the middle of the meeting.
Oh, to be like, it's real.
I'm here from the future.
I
Did you
did
fucking see the bubble? Like,
I convinced you.
Here's what we
Yeah.
need from you guys. Close your eyes and genuinely think to yourself, yes, we approve this. And then when they open their eyes, someone bubbles in. And if
Yeah.
they don't, they didn't approve it. The guy didn't bubble. It's like, I know you guys aren't going to approve this. We just said we would. No, because the guy's not here.
He's not here, and I made a play. I left a letter, and I
yeah.
said that we should do this.
But like, time travel exists already. They just
Yeah.
need like the funding. So they have this ability already. Like, this meeting
Yeah,
only goes this way one time until tomorrow. And then they're changing that meeting and getting all the funding they need. So like, this meeting version that we saw is when 1994 was the needle point. And it never goes this way again, because if time travel's real, you're going back and getting everything you want out of that meeting.
yeah. No, it was inevitable that it would happen,
Yeah.
but it's. I mean, yeah. It's
The best part of time travel.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like,
It's all wonky.
this is how it should have worked, and it didn't work. But like, if you scratch yourself, you'll get a scar later. Like,
But I
sure.
am interested in like who else, because I was also trying to think of like who else we know how they were recruited. Because there's what's her name, the girl, the internal
IA agent.
affairs
Yeah.
girl. But she was never a field agent. So she seems like I don't remember exactly what they said her background was. Like, it may have actually just been.
She was just IA, and this
She
was
just
her
was-
first real.
She was.
But IA just for the Time Enforcement Commission, which means you're super secret IA for a super secret organization. And it's like, what do you internal? It obviously necessary for a time crime unit, but also I'm like, you haven't done.
Yeah, because
You haven't done
of
any
the
of
combs
this?
that one pulling the strings.
Yeah, but it's just like buck wild.
That's why everyone's incompetent except for Van Damme.
I am interested in how they're like, how they like measure. This is once again, they don't talk about this at all because it's impossible to talk about. It's like, how do you tell that there's a ripple? Because we
Yeah.
see a ripple happen, and everyone's like, "Get out of here, JCPD!
Yeah,
Fuck off!"
the
Like,
disturbance-
you're lying.
The disturbance jumped from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
The
From-
size of Okinawa, I think someone said at one point.
Jesus Christ.
Because they have those PDA things that are like
Time beepers.
Google Map PDAs. That's like the disturbance
That they
is
use
over
like one
here.
time.
But like, if you're changing the future, I don't know how. Like, you have to have a piece of technology or something that is impervious to time shift.
Yeah.
Like the fucking car they zoom into the past with that doesn't time travel.
Okay.
Oh, wait, okay. We should talk
Let's
about the process.
fucking rocket car.
Yeah. The fucking
The
sled.
one pointed at the wall
Like,
with the blood stains.
Fowler twins.
it yes, it doesn't. So like, despite the fact that at the beginning they establish people casually walking out of a portal,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
and that they all have time vests that bring them back.
No,
No,
I
it's
think
the
it's just
thing.
the beeper.
Yeah, what they call that the
Oh, is it? I thought they had time vests. Like he
No,
like
no.
activated the time vest
track
in
and
the
return
30s.
module.
Yeah, no, it's the beeper thing because McComb picks it up in the microchip factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the thing he makes them throw.
So they
up.
don't have a time vest.
No, it's
I,
just like
I was so thrilled that there was a time vest, and I really like saying time vest.
You can say it more because
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. How many of your notes revolve around the time vest?
Just the one. I just thought that it was.
Kyle says to be
Yeah,
quiet.
just the one. Just
Oh shit!
just slowly marking out entire pages.
Oh, are those,
fuck,
are those fashion drawings?
Time vest
Of you in
was
a
the
time
fulcrum
vest?
of my notes.
Well,
but they
the process.
it
Okay.
looks like it involves nothing but whatever. A button, like the way that you first see people come out of portals, you're like, oh, they're walking through
A Stargate.
portal.
Yeah.
They're walking through a Stargate.
Yeah.
They're pressing a button and something's opening.
Maybe that's how the prototype works, because the McComb is the one walking out of the.
No, but so does
JCVD in the
20s.
30s, 20s.
He just walks into Atwood's office. When
Yeah.
You're right. Because
Listen-
then the
listening
other
to
time
worst
we
music
see him,
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
the other time we see him, he like falls into a lake.
Yeah. So that's my thing is when he goes back to the final time to 1994
Yes.
yeah,
and he almost gets hit by the truck.
Yeah.
On that lonely stretch of desert road, which is apparently outside of Washington D.C.
yeah.
That makes sense because it was like on the run. It's like we just got to get you in the area.
Sure.
This guy is here. He's gonna.
You missed it.
You're gonna kill character actors.
Yeah.
Okay, but like when they sent them back in time to the microchip factory and just dumped them in the water.
That's
it's
a
like
dick
you had
move.
all day to prepare.
Yeah.
You're gonna put them anywhere. Is it just to see her nips through the shirt?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I
in
mean,
this
obviously.
movie, yes.
Yeah. So the establishment up front is that it requires no extra gear. But then the dumb thing / the raddest thing that this movie could do was that actually, no, to send people back in time, it requires
Like a Back to the Future
rocket
setup.
cockpit that gets you. They never really explain how it works, which I'm fine with,
That's
but
fine.
it insinuates
This
it's
movie
basically
already explains
Yeah.
too much. And
Yes.
not-
It's basically a rocket sled
Yeah.
that 2 people can fit in, and at some point they definitely note that you need 2 people for some reason.
yeah.
And it is aimed at a thing that looks like a Stargate, but really is just also a crash test dummy wall
Time
that
wall.
you absolutely could fucking die
If you don't teleport out.
if you don't teleport out. So they set the time, you rocket towards the wall, portal opens, you go through it, sled
Does not.
completely disappears,
yeah.
and then you walk casually out
Yeah.
or get dumped into a lake.
So the implication is that between the two realms of time,
Yeah,
there's a pocket dimension
like a limbo.
Yeah.
where the thing opens up, you calmly get out, brush your stuff off, get ready to make your intro. It's like, and then stride into
Yeah.
1929.
Or like the ground suddenly pulls out from underneath you.
Yeah,
So
they,
you fall
they
into
pop
a
the
water.
cockpit and
Yeah.
they jump out and they just keep going.
Yeah.
Just fall in the water.
See, you guys are definitely. I didn't even think about that. What you're saying is nonsense, but also makes more sense than what I thought, which is they just go through and then they just melt out of the cockpit, don't physically get out of it,
Yeah.
and then the sled just goes on for eternity.
But they have to return to the
And they
pocket dimension
somehow
to
get
get back
back in
into
it.
the sled.
But the only thing that makes sense, which is also kind of the dumbest version, is that it's a pocket dimension. They get out, they're like, okay, and
Enter time.
then they just like fall through the floor into time.
like a video game when the
Yeah.
ground suddenly disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a loading in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and that's gonna haunt you. Like if
Yeah.
like you're gonna be like, fuck, I hope the ground's there. And the,
Yeah.
and the rookie behind you's like, what the hell does that mean? Just
Don't
get out
worry
of the
about
time
it.
sled.
just get out of the sled.
Remember
Well-
where we parked.
Well, the best part is like they have those track and return modules, which sends them back to the needle point.
Yeah.
And when they press it, they go back into the sled.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go back into the pocket universe. Back
Fly-
to the
go back-
sled.
Hope the sled's on time.
Well, the other thing
you
is
don't
like
phase
then it has
halfway
to
into
like. Does it mean that it has? Is there a wall? Is there another time wall in the pocket dimension?
Like maybe what you're saying is that the sled is continuing, and the sled will eventually
The sled's outside time, just going.
Time's
Yeah.
a flat circle.
Yeah.
but it goes back in to where
Yeah.
it came from. So the
Yeah.
sled is in a loop.
So think
And-
of it like the LAX pickup and drop off.
Yes.
It's one big circle.
And
the
what you're
sled's
doing-
just going around.
Your track and return
Yeah.
sends you back into the cockpit of the time sled,
Yeah.
which then continues and finishes its loop
Back.
back into the needle point.
Boy.
That's the only way this makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know if it
Because
does.
there's
make it-
only one time car.
There's
Yeah.
only one time car.
Yeah,
only
there's
one
only the
track.
one.
It's not
Yeah.
like it's crashing into the wall every time they take off.
And it's a huge deal. Like when they do, like it takes a ton of power.
Yeah.
It takes a ton of effort, a ton of people to send people back. Obviously, it should be difficult.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's so hard you have to hire a perv and let him watch porn at work.
yes,
Because he's the only one who can work
perfect
it.
VR porn. Finally,
VR porn because we
they
need
predicted it.
They need some bush in the movie.
Yeah, well, it had to
Yeah.
happen.
I mean, it was vital to the plot.
Yeah, this guy's a pervert. That
Yeah,
way,
good-
when you see him changed,
It's a business perv.
he's better.
Yeah.
He's business
He's the
perv.
only improvement.
Yeah, everyone else is worse, and he's like, I'm not perving out at work.
I wear a suit.
Yeah, something went right for him.
I have a wife and kids and a nice house.
Yeah, it's beautiful. My life is completely on track.
He should have showed up at the last fight
Yeah.
to be like, "You can't
Don't
go
you,
back."
don't you dare! Don't you
save your
dare!
wife.
I'm in my one good future. Fuck you,
That would have been such a good ending.
you
Oh.
selfish prick.
There should have been.
Pulls out pictures from his wall. These are my children.
Don't erase
my
exist. Fuck you.
There's that house at the end. Considering that everything that changed and it's just saving his wife and kids sends all of that back to normal.
Well,
Yeah.
that house
it's
should
also
have
murdering a pretty important senator.
and
Yeah.
murdering this. Like that house should have had 80 different time travelers,
yeah,
all with different agendas swarming through it
Yeah.
at the end.
It's a huge point in history.
Yeah, that should have been like the ending scene sequences of Mother,
Right,
where like the house is torn down.
it's like the date in Back to the Future,
Yeah.
where it's
What?
like this is the most important point in time. Like this can't change.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, no, like when he walked in, they should have closed the door behind him, and then the DeLorean pulls in, and then a Terminator teleports in. And, like all these different time
All of
travelers.
them.
Oh my god.
God
A
damn
Rick
it.
and Morty green portal shows up. Like just
Well, and that's when that's at the end that's when you do like the hard cut to like the end question mark.
Yeah.
You're like, oh
Oh,
no,
man.
Yeah.
Well, God.
real fast though, this movie does have a sequel.
Does it?
Yeah,
Oh, it does.
and two of our friends are in it.
Whom?
Thomas
Oh.
and Mary.
What?
Yeah, they're in Timecop.
Like
too.
How did this
recently?
never come up?
It came out in like the early aughts.
Oh,
That makes sense. That'd be the time that they would be in it.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause
I
I-
only want to talk to them about that now.
because I looked it up. And
They have the wildest careers.
because I looked it up and I was like, oh man. Because my biggest complaint with this movie, as a movie,
yeah.
I know we don't do too much movie talk, was that it didn't really have fun. Like they should have had a shootout in the Wild West.
Yes.
They should have had a sword fight on a burning pirate ship. Like he should have really chased Macomb through
You're
time.
you thinking it was a little like one note, it just going back to the same
Civil War and
Yeah.
house. Yeah. And,
or the mall.
The only fun thing they did was the rocket sled.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't need this to make sense because it looks fucking rad, which is my main thing about that I'm okay with it. I'm like, you did the cool thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but it's the cool thing.
yeah, but,
well, we made it make sense.
Well, we made it make
Yeah.
sense.
well, just to close it off, there's more of that in Timecop 2.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
There should be.
Because I read the synopsis and I saw who was in it.
Excellent.
But also it's like I love that in the future of 2004
Yeah.
they only have one super ugly car.
Yeah.
There's never any traffic on the road. He's
Yeah.
driving through Washington
With all
DC.
the extra plastic glued over the windshield, where you just kind of like hang.
That is my favorite part of 80s and 90s future movies.
Yeah.
Where they're like, well, the future will only get more complicated because me, a boomer, does not understand it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more buttons and
Yeah.
more screens.
Yeah.
And now I'm like sitting there looking at my Roku remote. It's like, wait, what happened to this button?
Yeah.
Like, there's only 3 buttons on this thing now. What the fuck?
This is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
for
literally, yeah, they just have the one car. It's a brick. Like, it looks like
They
the
filled it-
interior of the Nostroma's computer from
the
Alien,
outside.
but the outside. They made that into the outside of a car.
Yeah, it's the Mystery Science Theater background.
Yes!
Mobile.
It's literally the satellite of love made into a
Yeah.
car. Everything's like self-drive. Like, they're like literally no windshield. There's not even an
Windows.
option
Yeah.
They filled
for
it
you
in.
to look outside or like manually drive.
And they only had one.
Yeah.
And they only had the one. There's the limo, and then there's
The limo with all the TVs in it.
yeah.
I'm convinced it's the same car. They just only shot Van Damme in the cab, and they only shot
maybe.
McComb.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no. They didn't make multiple of
Yeah.
those. They were just like, we kind of will shoot it from a different angle so it looks like a sedan.
Yeah, we have to put all the money into the time car,
Yeah.
which I'm in favor. I really like how the time car stuff looked original Star Warsy, like dirty and
Yeah.
used and like lived in. They're
Yeah.
just like, it's the bare minimum. They even call
Yeah.
it out. They even call
Yeah.
out their budgets like bare minimum,
Yeah.
no comforts, no
Yeah.
amenities.
Yeah.
We've got one time car, we've got one time wall.
And that is it.
And we don't clean it.
And we did not have the time to clean
We
it.
got Ricky the Perv.
Yeah. This is all we got. This is
We're using this to police time.
I fucking love the ending where he stops it. That's such a good idea, and I'm so sad that's not actually this movie.
he should stop it.
Where he finally like gets his shit together.
I feel so bad for pervert Ricky. He really should have. Anyway, go ahead.
How do you monitor time?
I don't know.
The time continuum.
Well, the screen says.
The screen says,
And
but-
you're only going back 200 years, so it's like not a lot of time to,
but again, there has to be a constant for it to measure against.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that
Or-
they don't really ever talk about is like there must be like a control timeline where we're like somewhere, somehow there's a record of I don't know. I don't know where they're just like, this is the right thing. This is what we're measuring, what is normal, and all the events have happened this way.
But Van Damme undetected.
That's what I don't know.
Unless like the disturbance is they can just tell when people are like jumping in.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
Like it's only useful for them to
when and where that they're jumping in.
Yeah, it's only useful because they can see it in that time. They're like, someone activated time thing here.
But it still falls apart because when McComb goes back in time and murders his old partner
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the chip factory.
Yeah.
Okay. They're using the partner's technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like a huge time bubble.
Yeah.
And then they kill him and they're just like, yeah, whatever. Hey, are you okay? Yeah. Why is everything so different? Nothing's different. What's going on? Did time change? No. Oh, I'm convinced.
Okay.
I'm
Seems
convinced.
fine.
I do appreciate when he went back that the guns were different.
Yes. Yeah.
Like those.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's like little touches like that because the prime timeline, there's like
Mhm.
the weird rounded
Yeah. The big round muzzles.
muzzles
Okay,
and stuff.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
they go back in time and everything's like a bullpup, like a steer that the bad guy from Die Hard uses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did the little touches like that, but then they're also like, you leave in a rocket car, you come back in a rocket car. However, how you enter the past,
We have no idea.
it's random.
One
Yeah.
of the but this, now I'm like the funniest thing that could happen is that the sled does go back with you, and in that first scene, he rockets through in a sled through that guy's desk, knocks
out the
him
window.
through the fucking window. He's like, "Oh shit! We did not plan this.
There's
I mean,
one
we
thing
stopped him.
We stopped him for sure.
We stopped him.
We stopped him.
we should talk about that era one more time. In that being his former partner, McComb takes him back to be judged. He doesn't rat out. I'm not McComb. Walker takes him back to be judged by the Time Enforcement Commission, and they sentence him to death. And their version of sentencing him to death is to send him back to 1929, where he had jumped out the window,
Yeah.
in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Bubble time him in.
Yeah.
And watch him just finish.
I think it's pretty sweet.
It's
I thought it was pretty
great.
cool. Yeah.
But like, if their whole thing is like, we can't fuck up the past. Like we can't
okay.
do anything to cause a ripple.
But like, okay, so let's start with the Civil War robbery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, I do have a question. How many teeth was that guy missing? Because that was a big hole. I think he was missing 2 teeth in the front.
A
Yeah.
couple, yeah.
I think he was missing 2, not 1.
Good for
also,
him.
he's from the future. Do they not have dentistry in the future?
It's,
Well, I mean,
it's just not important.
It's not important to that guy. Yeah, it's part of his whole vibe.
Okay. I mean, it helped. It helped him land,
Intimidation.
I'm like, that guy's a bad guy.
It
He's
helped him
missing
blend
teeth.
into the aesthetic of the Civil
but-
War.
yeah, the American South in the 1860s.
Yes, yeah.
But it's like, so that guy, how would you go back and kill him? Would you just like send him back in time with, no ammo in his guns, and then the Confederates just shoot him in the road
I guess
and keep
so.
going?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you also teleport him back 100 feet in the air over like Savannah, Georgia? It's like Sherman's burning it to the ground and just drop him through.
Just let him burn up.
I think the best way to do it is the way you should be executed for time crimes.
Yeah.
is they need to get better at the insertion into time, and then you just drop them on themselves.
Okay, so you crush them.
Well, no,
If you drop them from high enough.
you goo them together. You like
you
erase them.
you would goo them, yeah.
Yeah.
You erase them
Oh,
from
that's good.
existence.
Yeah.
Well, that-
and you did that to the guy who tried to stop the A-bombs from dropping, and that's what gave birth to Akira. As a young man saw somebody get gooed, he goes,
Oh,
I have to draw all of
oh
this.
my God. Beautiful.
Without time crimes, we wouldn't have Akira.
We wouldn't have a goo boy.
Put it in the books.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What I like about that whole sequence is that, of course, if you have secret crime division of time crimes, that means you would have entire shadow judicial system built
that
out
seems
of that.
like what this all is, though. It's like
Absolutely.
it does everything.
Yes. I mean, that's it. Yeah, you're not taking anything to the Supreme Court
Yeah.
here. Like it begins and ends in this building.
Well, you would take him to the Time Supreme
the Time
Court.
Supreme Court, which is a separate building.
But then
We do have to go outside.
We do have to go outside. It sucks.
but everybody also has this. So is this at a point now where
What do you mean every? Oh, you mean just other countries?
other countries?
Yeah.
So do normies know this exists?
No.
No,
Not at all.
I would say no.
Except for the people who
Unless
saw
in
someone
the future,
phase out
unless
of
in the
reality.
future, everyone knows.
Right. But like there at this point there's been enough moments in history.
Yeah.
I guess those would just spawn conspiracy theories or like UFO nut job types.
Yeah.
That would be like, I saw a guy jump out of a building, phase out of reality, come back
Yeah.
through like a rippling in space time and crash into the ground.
Okay, but this is 1908, and your doctor prescribes you cocaine.
Right.
Yeah.
So is
So
it
you're
possible
fine.
you're just undergoing the effects of your meds?
It could
You're
be.
you're mostly drunk at all times, and you're on cocaine to feel better.
My mind was living faster than reality, and then
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then when I saw, it finally caught up.
Yeah, we've all had cough medicine.
Yeah.
We'll have combat
how did people think that there were sea monsters? They were drunk and high all the time.
They felt great.
And dehydrated, for sure.
What are you doing? I'm just huffing ether. Oh,
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, did you see that giant squid?
Had a
well, it's
little
2 p.m.
headache.
somewhere.
It's
My
somebody's
headaches
got a
are
cold
gone.
somewhere.
My headaches are gone and my soul's left my body. No, I'm still here.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
I want to talk about the blob death a little bit.
We
because-
all want to talk about the blob death.
Yeah.
yeah, they Chekhov's gun the no matter can occupy the same space. Way
It's
early.
never happened.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, don't touch me, but he's also like chilling out next to himself.
You're
Like,
a little too close.
I'd be like across the room. I'd be like, here's what you're gonna do.
Stay over there.
He waited way too long. Because I'm telling you right now, past Matt would have tried to touch future Matt. Be like, are you
Immediately,
real?
yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
Like,
Hey.
yeah, no, he was like within hugging distance for like a good 30 seconds before he held out the piece of paper, which I'll remind you is not a part of him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then when the guy reaches, he goes, "Hey, don't touch me."
Don't touch me. Don't you dare.
pretty fast and loose with the whole problem.
I would
of
also
that.
say that they definitely insinuate a couple times. They never really say. There's definitely like it'll cause ripples that will destroy mankind. That's in general why they've created that. That's if anyone changes anything,
Yeah.
it
Police
causes
and time.
ripples that could destroy mankind. Whatever that means. We literally see time change in this movie,
Every
and
time.
humanity seems fine.
Yeah,
We keep going. It's just slightly different.
The
Maybe
guns
there's
look-
double
the guns
Hitlers.
look different.
Yeah, maybe guns are different, whatever. But in general, the universe has not exploded. Time
Yeah.
and space has not gone. They kind of also insinuate that, or at least my thought when they were like, you can't touch each other, I thought the same thing where it's like, ooh, if the matter inhabits the same space,
It's like a void
that
out.
that will cause like the destruction of a timeline, or
Yeah.
once again,
Yeah.
something as bad as what we're trying to stop
yeah.
from happening, because that was like a big deal that they're like, oh, they're always at risk of touching their past selves when they go back. And then they just blob up and neatly
Yeah,
go
Slop
away.
into the floor.
She
Yeah.
didn't even have to clean her floor.
yeah.
Like it's done. No one had to get a mop even. Like it's not even messy in the way that it looked like that it was.
That seems like the perfect way to dispose of someone.
It's the
'cause
cleanest way.
it traps them in a loop then. Like then they're trapped in a time loop prison because their whole thing is a cycle now from that point onwards.
No, Joey, it makes them goo. I believe it's making them
It
goo.
inspires Akira.
I think you're thinking a little too hard about this.
Well, that's
this
the whole
movie
point of
is
the
not
show.
like they're in a time prison in a time loop. This movie very much posits they're goo and they go away.
I wonder
forever.
if like gooing up like that, if it like, no, because they mention he disappeared.
Yeah,
he
so it
still
doesn't
exists.
erase you from the timeline entirely.
Yeah, you
It's
just stop after the point you become good.
Which honestly would have been way cooler if at the end they would have
He's
been like,
never
I don't know who
existed.
that is.
Yeah.
We never existed. I'm like, okay, well, at least that would have been some sort of timey-wimey consequence for
Yeah.
what happened. But otherwise, it's just like, yeah, the cleanest way to eliminate someone. Like,
Make them touch
that's definitely
themselves.
like Ryan Johnson saw this movie and was like, Looper.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
That's
like,
the cleanest way,
Yeah, but more guns.
but more guns.
all you need to do is just like walk by somebody and just be like, ugh, and like push them into their old
Yeah.
self.
It's
Like,
perfect.
yeah, I think completely erasing them with the contradiction of them touching themselves
Yeah.
is cleaner than them just disappearing.
But it also makes the case for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Every time you travel through time,
Yeah.
you create a branching timeline.
Yeah.
Because that guy always has to go back from that timeline
Yeah.
to get gooed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the normal timeline keeps going.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's basically the end point of that universe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's one of those weird, yeah. It just that was my only thing with this movie was that they never really do a good job of establishing the stakes of how bad it would be to change something, because once again, we see things change and one dude's life gets tremendously better.
and the other one's like,
And
I don't-
everyone else is just like, oh, we're just not like best friends. And I'm kind of like, honestly, it's probably great that you're not best friends with Jean-Claude. He seems like kind of a dick.
yeah. He's got great ass though.
Yeah. I mean, like, but he seems like a bit of a loner. I don't think he'd be fun to go to a bar with or
Probably
like a
not.
game. He's living a very sad loner
I'm gonna
lifestyle.
tell you about my murdered wife.
He literally just goes into his voice-activated apartment and sits down and drinks heavily. Which, by the way, to have the body like that, you can't drink like that.
No,
you
no,
can't
no,
drink
no.
like that. But
You're
it
gonna do
goes
the
out,
splits, you
drinks
kidding
a
me?
bottle of whiskey, and just watches old wedding videos for 10 years.
Not even old wedding videos.
Oh,
Some
just
random video where they're making a birdhouse.
Random arts and crafts.
Which he uses to prove to her. Like, what if she didn't give a shit about the birdhouse afternoon? What if she wasn't watching that movie
Yeah,
for 10 years?
yeah, she barely
And
remembers
he's like,
it.
I'll know who to go if I need a birdhouse. The fuck is that?
What the
Who
fuck are you talking about?
Is that
I don't recognize you.
That was like 4 years ago. I don't remember. I remember we boned down, but
And
that's
I-
it.
And I left the camera on.
And
Did
I
you know
left the camera
was
on. Oh yeah, that's when you see his ass again. That would have been really funny if it was just like a full.
He walks in the frame and he's naked already.
No, he's sitting
full
there.
dong.
No, he's sitting there. He's watching him drinking, and then it's like you see that moment where they start to bone down,
Yeah.
and it cuts back to him sadly drinking, and it cuts back to TV. It's just his ass in the middle of him. He just takes another long
Thrusting.
sip.
You just hear a zip.
Then he stands up and he's also pantless. And Jimmy walks off screen.
Look, I would not put it past.
If that
this
was
parent.
it, then I get it.
Yeah.
I understand why he's watching that particular video
Yeah.
every day. But 10
No,
years,
it's off. I put the camera down. It's
10
off.
years, that's your routine. That's like,
You're traveling
and
back in time.
Here's my thing. I think that a nice thing about living where we live now is like, I don't believe that man didn't at least try therapy at some point. I don't believe that. Like, I just don't. I've
Not
never
no
done
more.
anything every night like that for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's
You
you
said
got to break it up. You tell me you didn't go to a hockey game. He loves hockey.
you need to. What was the whole thing where I was like he? Well, I'm assuming it was a throwaway line, but I'm like he didn't use the time travel to go fix his life. What did I miss?
Well, because at some point he basically, I mean, I believe that Van Damme was like, "Don't you think I wanted to do that?" He basically expresses that he's thought about it,
I thought it
but
was
didn't,
the IA agent.
or maybe she mentioned
She
it.
goes, you never thought of going the past
Yeah,
and saving your wife? And he just looks at her and then looks away and walks on.
the answer is no. Then
I think that
Fuck, you're right.
It's
the
the
answer
best
is I thought
acting.
about it every day.
Yeah, we saw what he watches.
No,
he's thought
he's
about.
a-
It's the best acting he does in the whole movie.
Perhaps his
is
entire
him,
career.
Yeah,
But
is
like-
him not saying yes every day.
But then as soon as it's like at all part of the thing, he
Yeah,
does it.
well, yeah,
I
Because-
don't
well,
believe
because he's seeing it from a different
Yeah,
angle
because
now.
now he knows that he was time fucked, so he gets the time fuck back.
Yeah.
When he thought it
his
was the
life
natural
yeah.
order of things, he didn't
Yes.
do it because he
That-
thought that's the timeline.
That's 100% right. Now he has now he knows that he was fucked with, and the timeline was never supposed to be
Yeah, he's
that his
actually
wife is
correcting
dead. Now he's like, no, fuck that
yeah,
shit.
he spent the last 10 years living in the wrong timeline.
Yeah.
I think if he's spending 10 years
Which is why this thing doesn't work. It's why the Time Enforcement Commission does not work.
Yeah. I think if he's spending every day of the last 10 years living in sad boy land,
Yeah.
watching himself fuck his own wife,
Yeah.
I think the second he's got the opportunity, he's changing it regardless of.
No,
But-
that's why he's the only good cop.
Yeah, he's the only one not on McComb's payroll. Also, you got to think like the sheer resources involved too. Once again, like it is like he would have to align with McComb and use his secret illegal like rocket
So do
sled
it.
somewhere in Jersey.
I can pretend to like someone. And that's also part of the problem with this
That's the
too.
most telling thing you've ever said about yourself.
I can pretend.
and our
I-
friendship.
Look, I can pretend to like someone for a long time to my own end, but it's like he immediately
Shit.
is like, yeah, I know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get your man? I never give up. And
Yeah.
just like is staring at McComb, unblinking eyes. You do not let somebody who's committing time crimes all willy-nilly
Mm-hmm.
know that you're onto their time crime plot
Mm-hmm.
unless you go back to the future and shoot that guy in the face
Yeah.
after you tell him that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's then gonna go kill your
He's
wife.
going to revenge you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's bad copying.
Well, it's also bad writing because these people had presumably never met until this moment, and they acted like they hate fucked each other with just their eyes.
Yeah.
Well,
for a
it's also
decade.
they both had been working there the entire decade that it had existed. There's
The
no
oversight.
way he had not met the
Yeah.
senator overseeing
Yeah, and he's
this
best-
entire thing
best friends with the boss. He would have been in several meetings.
easily. Like would have been forced to go to dinners to like rub elbows with him
As
for sure.
if he's got such, I'm such a cop.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go back and save my wife,
Yeah.
who died of natural causes in
In
a
an
house
explosion.
after I was shot in the chest by people I've never seen. I'm such a good cop. I'm gonna immediately let my
Well,
target
this
know
is
I'm
also my
onto
other
them.
thing. I was sort of like the thing that's distressing and lame about the him going back and watching that video is like I would like way more if he was like going home and he had like a board with yarn and shit and was like I
Yeah.
should find these murderers.
Yeah.
These men who killed my wife and shot me. Like, because he's a cop. He has access to reports. It's not like they were like, we found 3 other burnt bodies. Like, it would be, he would have access to know that the men were not in there.
Yeah, nope, that's way more interesting.
Like, and he's proactive and less sad. It's still sad, but like in a proactive way.
And he's been
Like-
sad for 10 years and he knows that something is up and he's like almost crazy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be a time cop. He'd just be a normal cop because he'd be going after
a revenger.
those normal guys.
The
I
guys
love
that
it.
went back.
He doesn't know that
Unless
they're time
he,
guys yet.
unless he thought they were time guys.
I think
But
he
then
would
he
think they were
would
time
go
guys.
back. See, we're already making a better movie where he becomes obsessed with it, finds out they're time criminals, and then goes on his own like fucking personal
Time rampage.
crusade for a time rampage to save her.
Yeah. I mean,
Ugh. This movie's pretty fun though.
I have no idea like how close it follows the comic.
I had no idea it was a comic book until I saw that Dark Horse was producing it.
Yeah,
This must be their first.
well, they did
thing
this
as a
kind of like
production
at the
company?
same time as The Mask, which were both created by, what's his name?
So Mark Richardson,
yeah,
he's the idea
Mike
man,
Richardson.
and he's the publisher of Dark Horse.
Okay.
Since forever.
Yeah,
And then he's also listed as an executive producer or producer on every Dark Horse movie.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
but like his original properties, I believe, for my wiki research,
Yeah.
were Timecop and The Mask. And so
Wow.
he was credited as writer because it's based on characters created by type of thing.
Yeah.
But Mark Verheiden, who's like a TV guy, Ash vs. Evil Dead, also was with him on The Mask,
Yeah.
Heroes, Battlestar, was like probably the main adaptation writer of this.
That's crazy.
But it was like Dark Horse getting into movies, and of course, like if you're the founder of Dark Horse, you're
You're
start
doing
with the
mine.
shit you did,
Yeah.
you made.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen the comic of this. Didn't know it was one.
I had
until
no
this.
idea. That's like, even though like the mask was so big
Yeah.
that I very quickly afterwards, I remember they released like a CD of like an animated digital comic of like the original series, the
they
hyper
did.
violent
Ah.
series. That's how I read the Mask comic books. That
Is it good?
I don't remember. I mean, it was awesome at the time because it was like edgelordy shit where he shoves mufflers up dudes' asses and like stuff like, you know what I mean? Like, so like but it's crazy to me that I like was aware the Mask had like a violent comic book, but I did not know Timecop was a comic until days ago.
Well,
I feel like that would have come up at some point in my
Yeah.
life.
This was I'm sure Timecop wasn't.
I worked in a
nearly as-
fucking comic shop, and Dark Horse does not release a like
A ton
trade of Timecop,
Yeah.
which feels crazy unless it looks like shit, which it might.
Let me look it up. This is also a Saturn Award nominee, 1995,
As it
for
would be.
best sci-fi film.
Well, Saturn's always reaching for stuff.
Well,
I feel like-
a lot of times I feel like they nominate people they think they can get to show
Yes,
up.
100%. Absolutely. They were like, at the very least, we can get the chief of the Time Enforcement Commission to come and accept the award.
Oh yeah, Bruce will be there.
Bruce is there in a heartbeat.
Timecop edition number 2.
Just want to hear me play William Tell in my throat.
Can't believe he didn't do it in every movie.
Hey, the time
It
car
would
is
fit.
that's part of the original thing here.
Oh, I know. The time car reeks of it being from the comic. Like,
As does the time wall.
yeah, like that all absolutely makes sense. And once again, if they just had taken an extra step to make it vibe and kind of make sense, I would have been, because like when the time sled is the coolest part. It seems like they were like, that is cool. That is visually a cool thing to do.
Yeah, but they are also like, we also don't want
Oh, this is a movie adaptation.
we
of
also don't want
Timecop.
we also don't want the time car to phase in,
Yeah.
watch our actors awkwardly get out of
Yes.
it, and
Yeah.
then, like talk to the guy.
I get it. It's a very weird thing, but it also sort of reeks of that thing that we've talked about before, where it's sort of like you're making a genre movie, but maybe for like executives that are allergic to genre things, and they're sort of like, I don't, you know, we don't have to do all of this. Like, they can
It's-
just walk out.
It's
Yeah.
so weird that the going back and forth in time,
Yeah.
you know, the crux of the movie,
Yes.
feels like one team
Yeah.
made it up to this point.
the before.
They all lost money, they lost funding.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it sat on a shelf, and then they brought in a new team with no one else except for the producers.
Yeah.
And they continued it, and then that connection, that glue,
Yeah.
you know, about how you enter and exit the time stream.
Blah, blah,
They
blah,
never
blah,
went
blah.
back to. Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of left it wishy-washy there.
Like, we can't afford the time car anymore. We got an After Effects plugin. We'll just use that to get in, I guess.
So-
That's fine. We got T1000 waves.
Yeah.
So the future car,
Yeah.
Yes.
we're way over budget. We glued so much shit to the side of it.
Insane amount of LEDs.
So from now on, people are just gonna walk into the past or fall. They can fall,
They can fall.
Look,
We
I
can
won't
drop
stop
them.
you from
That is
falling.
not a problem.
but we're not doing the car.
We're done with it. Such a bummer.
But like, how do we get from the Brie time to the current time?
Here's the
Like-
thing:
like,
is this movie is gonna be so exciting and so interesting, and our lead so charismatic.
yeah.
No one's gonna even register that they get into a time car and then appear in
Without
the
one.
1920s.
My thing with this movie, I definitely had this point where I was like, hell yeah. And then it was like 30 minutes into the movie, and I saw that there was only an hour left. I was like, damn, there's a lot to do here. I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched this movie. And then the last half hour of the movie is just the house assault.
Yeah.
So there's really just like
which is where
kind of barely an hour of actual fun time travel-y stuff.
But it's
And
efficient.
even-
The house
yeah.
is exploded by minute 12.
Yes. Yeah. No. The beginning is very efficient. They get there.
that just is another example of why that house should have had 80 different time travelers.
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm with you.
but it was just like one of those movies where I was like, ooh, a breezy 90. And then I was like 30 to 40 minutes in, I was like, I don't know how they're doing this at a breezy 90. And then I got to the end of it, I was like, maybe they could have done 80.
Are you kidding me? Then we'd miss out on the worst knife fight ever committed to film.
It's in my fucking notes.
Mine's too. So
It fucking sucks. It doesn't make sense.
So first off, the bad guys show up into his apartment. They have future knives.
Yeah.
And you can tell
Which
the future
look
knives
rad.
because they look stupid as shit. Some real mall ninja gas station specials.
Yes.
And then the entire knife fight is Van Damme holds the knife in front of him. And the person who knows what he's doing runs his blades up and down like it's a sharpening steel. Then he puts his arm down like this and he runs his blades up and down like it's a sharpening steel. And then Van Damme does it one more time and I'm like, this is the worst fucking knife fight
It
ever.
literally looks like Van Damme's just going back and forth like this, and the other guy's going.
You're giving him. I don't think he's even moving. I think he just holds it in front of him, and the guy just da 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 da, and then he does it like this, and the guy goes da da da.
It was just like in my notes. It was like knife fight is so sad.
It's the
And
worst
all-
knife fight ever committed to film.
All I could think was like, they didn't have to do a knife fight.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. Like, just let him punch and kick.
I
Like,
need to go back and watch it. I
like
didn't
so,
clock how bad it
so
was.
clearly Van Damme was not interested in learning cool knife, which I would think would be something he'd be stoked about. Like, do like a cool drop the knife, get it.
Yeah.
But he was so clearly not interested. Like, don't do it.
He's got the splits coming up. He's already
He
thinking
literally
about that.
just is. The other guy's moving so fast.
his fucking future knives.
Yeah, you know they're future knives because they have the split down the middle, the
Yeah.
gap in the middle, so
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
And
forked.
there's little hooky things on
Yeah.
the side. It's like, oh, that's another cutting surface.
That
You know, if you just do it right.
you don't need to do it, but you're like, those knives, those are definitely from the future of 2004.
And then the guy with the taser. Do you think it's a future taser?
It is.
Or,
I think so.
Or do you think it's a fundamental misunderstanding of thinking that
of
those
what
things
tasers are?
retract like a tape
Ooh.
measure?
So
I bet it was
I-
a future taser.
My
but-
initial thought, because it had the laser point on it too, my initial thought and the retractability, I thought it was future.
Okay.
But I 100% also could see a writer or a prop person be like, yeah, and then it like retracts in, and then someone
Could
like
do it again.
and I was gonna be like, then the consultant. There's no consultant. No one was like, that's not how they work. Like
spend
it,
it all on
could
the
have been
time card.
either one.
Or they were like, oh yeah, and then it retracts, and then they bring in the stunt guys like, no, these don't retract.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to fake that.
Yeah. No, they will retract though. We're gonna make them retract.
It's vital to the movie.
yeah. Well, it's once again, it's along the same lines of, do you want to see them awkwardly get out of the rocket time sled? Do you want to see them like get the fucking cords after this shocks someone, put them back in,
Loop it
wheel them
around the
back in?
finger.
It's
Well,
like,
the-
no, these are reusable. These are reusable.
The shot of him doing the splits over
Yeah.
the water, like in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that being in the trailer for this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And I-
you have to,
I
Oh.
don't know what movie I saw that trailer. a
and you
bunch.
still don't.
I still don't. It was probably The Mask. Like, I watch that on VHS all the time.
Yeah.
But there's like that shot to me was this movie.
Yeah.
It's like JCVD's in it. He's gonna do the splits. There's time shit.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Guy's getting
12-year-old.
electrocuted.
I literally have it in my notes. I vividly remember the splits in the kitchen being at the end of the movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, because you were like, it's got to be the climax.
It's got to be the climax because they front load it splits wise.
They
there's,
do.
There's 2 splits within 5 minutes in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Never again.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought this was
fucking
gonna
nuts.
be like
Split
time
I do-
cop splits.
I do think that you did bring
Time to
something.
split.
I do think you brought up something, Joey, that I think is important and does feel like the guiding light of this film. It is 100% made for 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel like that. It's like, time logic wise, yes.
Get it.
Fight wise, yes. Boobs, yes. At front bush, absolutely.
Oh, did you guys like when that guy got his head frozen and kicked off? We got that.
We
It's
got
just an
that
arm.
too.
It's just an
just
arm, but we got
but
it.
it's pretty sweet. Someone's getting froze up.
And then, do you want to mention that moment? Because I was watching this and I was just like, you know, Van Damme really is in that tier below Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think the biggest example of that is he breaks a glass, freezes the guy's arm,
Yeah.
kicks the arm so hard it shatters,
Yep.
and then throws the guy off a second-story catwalk into a microchip thing.
Yes.
No one-liner.
Nothing.
He has several though in
But
this.
they're not good.
But they're not
good.
related. They're so generic, and they're rarely related to what he just did.
Yeah.
It's like nice try.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and then
Yeah.
here's the difference: is Stallone honestly believes he's a capital A actor.
Yes.
And he's delivering them as that character would.
Yeah.
So you get his total buy-in. And then Arnold, when he does a one-liner, thinks he's the funniest man alive. He's like, they're gonna love this, and that's how he delivers it. And then Van Damme's just like, got you again.
Haha.
Nice try.
They probably were just like, just say some stuff.
Ew,
Just give us
don't
some
do
things.
that.
And
Don't
he's
let
just
him
like,
do that.
I guess I
Yeah.
kicked you pretty hard.
That's it.
That's what
Don't
they feel
lose
like.
your arm. And then they're like, no, John, no, say something else. Like, don't say what you did.
I guess you'll need someone to give you an arm, huh?
You're
right there. You're right there, buddy.
A hand. It's like you need a hand. He's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Speaking of, and it might have just been because I was so high I was on the moon when I did my when I did my second watch of this last
I
night.
was really high.
But when Macomb is like making fun of Van Damme, he's like, "Yeah, you should have saved that kicking for Broadway." He says it like they say it in "Oh Hello," like how Nick Kroll said it. It's like
Broadway.
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 and then at the end we also have Van Damme go, "I must be on Broadway." They both said so weird. And I was just on the moon, and I had to pause it and take 10 minutes off down.
There's another. They also get Van Damme pretty early, where I think Mia Sarah's straight up just like, your English is garbage.
She does, yeah.
And also, but
I was
also,
like, damn.
but also, he has like the least French name, Max
Yeah.
Walker. And
Yeah.
like in
And then
in
it's,
Universal Soldier, he's like Luc Devereaux. Oh yeah, he's from Louisiana. They tried.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's like hard target. It's like, all right, yeah, sure. You're vaguely
Cajun, I guess.
Cajun. You can at least say French words. I get it.
I'm how you say time cop.
Les Timecop.
I am from, how do you say, Scottsdale.
My name is Max Walker from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Time police.
Go Cards!
Would you like some of my baguette? I mean, white bread.
I got one. This is kind of a callback to some other episodes of the show. I wanted to just bring this up, which is lines that typically Kyle hears in the background that have earth-shattering ramifications.
Yes, this movie's full of those.
Yeah, but the one in particular I wrote down was on the news. It's usually like in a news story because
Yeah.
it's just like something they had. That,
Oh,
like,
we haven't
can't
even
fit this-
touched on the entire
How it
political
nailed the
spectrum
politics
of
of
this
it.
movie,
How-
and we have to.
The government provided political funds,
Yeah.
and that the white supremacy party has
Yes.
qualified for the matching
But
funds.
Macomb
Yes.
didn't.
But Macomb didn't, which is devastating, and in many ways.
Yeah, just one of those like sidelines. You're just like, wait a minute, what?
No, they mention. I had to go back and rewind it because they mention multiple things
in that news report.
Yeah. It
throughout.
is. Wait, where is? Okay, they mentioned the pro-life, pro-death
Pro-death
panel
penalty.
coalition.
Yeah.
Right.
The Close Our Border for America. Close Our Border, America for Americans, anti-immigration. Those
Accurate.
were the two big ones. And then straight up the white supremacist party. And that they mention offhand that there is a genuinely serious independent candidate in the running.
It's the only thing they got wrong.
Yeah. Everything else.
It's the only thing.
I mean, besides, well, yeah. I
In
mean, I guess
semantics,
we
it's
don't
just the
have.
names
Yeah, I
of
was
it.
gonna say it's like we don't have an official white supremacist party, but
we do.
we kind of do.
Yeah.
No,
There's the one that certainly they like more.
Yeah. No. Listen, I'm not saying all members of a certain political party are white supremacists.
No.
I am.
I'm just
No.
saying all the white supremacists
Are
are
in
members
that.
of that party.
Yeah, it's like bourbon. It's
Yeah,
the same thing.
I was just thinking, all scotch.
Not all whiskeys are bourbon. But all bourbons are whiskey. Yeah, that was like that was some real big world building politically
but it's not.
inside a limo.
Yeah, is not part of the plot. Is not part. Well, like
No.
except for the Macomb thing and him needing money.
Yeah.
But like, if they just would have not said that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the three guys, the two co-writers and the director who made this movie,
Yeah.
you know, they were probably like, you know, hippie adjacent, anti-Vietnam,
Yeah.
and then they were like, man, we can't have another Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be like, guys, it gets worse twice.
Yeah.
It gets worse with W, and it gets worse with Trump. Like,
It gets so bad that we look back at W and we're like, what a lovable idiot.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's just painting.
Yeah, he's just at least he has art in his soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least we know that there's some sort of humanity in there.
Yeah, he killed 1 million Iraqis, but
Yeah. I wouldn't call it empathy,
but he left.
but he did.
Like,
he was like, my time's over.
We
Yeah.
got to stop paying attention to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny listening back to like Patton Oswalt bits about talking about how George Bush is going to bring up the apocalypse. And
Yeah.
It's like, don't even
How
We have
quaint,
no
bro.
Yeah, you don't even know that stuff. It's aged poorly.
That's why you just got to keep it evergreen, guys. Just
Yeah.
talk about how bad the world is in general.
In general.
It's like that Simpsons joke. They get the DJs and they have that button. It's like you push a button, it goes, huh, can you believe what those clowns in Congress did? What a bunch of clowns. It's like, how does it keep up with the news like that? Don't praise the machine.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Well, that has been Timecop.
Wait. I have a question.
Yes.
I just have
Please.
one question for discussion.
We have to.
What do you think is the line? Okay, I can't murder someone.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh,
can't-
sure.
Like I can't go back in time and make Fred Trump dies at that Klan rally he was arrested at in
Yeah.
the 20s, okay? I can't go back and make money.
Yeah.
Can I go back and buy a case of Josta and a case of Vault?
Ooh, could you go back and buy Surge?
Yes.
Pokemon cards.
Could I go? Well,
But that's money.
You're right.
Could I go back in time and watch Jaws in '76 and Star Wars in '77 with audiences?
Could
see
you
for the
do
first time?
tourism?
Yes.
Time tourism.
Yeah.
Can I find out how much? Can I find out what dinosaur tastes like?
That is a good idea.
Interesting.
Now,
but
see,
you'd probably
this
bring
is-
back a disease with that one. You'd
I mean,
probably
who
get-
knows? But Matt opens up a good thing where like capitalism would eventually win out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that eventually this goes public and someone's like, well, fuck. Yeah, we'll send you. You want to see dinosaurs real life? Fuck yeah. You want to breathe good air? Let's take you back.
I bet the dinosaur era would be like, because you just go and look, you know, outside of the butterfly effect of whatever bug you squished or whatever.
Yeah.
Sound of
Like-
Thunder. We all saw it. No,
Yeah.
it was a bad movie.
That seems safer than going back to any time when there's people around,
Yes.
because you never know what kind of lunatic.
The implications aren't obvious, at least.
Yes.
It'll be more you step on a bug and I don't know,
the
fucks up
dinosaurs
evolution
still,
maybe, but
still get squished by a meteor, like it, like that. I
Yeah.
feel like you could time tourism before people, but anything with people, the risks are too great of what that would do to our current timeline if somebody saw it.
Yeah,
I guess.
and like I said, the time travel should be limited to like the tourism.
yeah.
Should be limited to like 30 years in the past.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Outside of that, you're done.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, you can't go back to like Shakespeare times because their English ain't our English.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, you need to be able to kind of blend in and not be such a jarring experience. And also, really, like, the amount of money people would pay just to go back, like you were saying, like, go back and, like, eat a candy that's not made anymore. To like, drink a drink that doesn't exist anymore. To see their favorite movie for the first time on a screen. Like, that feels very real and, like, would be very lucrative, I feel like.
Or like painless suicide.
And that's... So this is the dumb thing, too.
Don't marry him.
Yeah. There's that.
that affects the timeline.
that once again, Joey, you're misunderstanding. But this is the other thing. This is why McComb's plan is fucking awful, because he's just going back and stealing money to fund his fucking presidential campaign. And it's like, bud, figure out a way to
Be emperor.
Yeah.
or figure out a way to monetize this even, and then you don't have to worry about money anymore. Like it's also, how's he spending his campaign funds, because he is not doing well. He has a lot of money from around from around history.
just the 1929 era.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that sale still went through. That what's his face
Yeah.
put in.
Well, it did. It must have.
No, because he said Walker's already cost me. Because he asked his little underling, is like, how much do I need in advertising to get back in this? It's like, what do you say, like 50 million?
Yeah,
like
something like that.
some whatever number he said.
Mhm.
And he goes, Walker already cost me that from 1929.
Weird.
But
Maybe he
the
didn't
sale
make his
went through.
other things. Oh, my other thing was,
and then he jumped out the
interesting-
window.
Yeah, my other thing was that they don't really address that much, but also there's no way he could have done that. Like, he obviously they kind of touch on in the 30s, the 20s when he's there, that he does like a black bag and puts like his like future cassette player
Yeah.
and like things in the bag, and like obviously, yes, you can't leave behind any future things. Guy's got to have stuff at his house, right?
Mhm.
Like, there's no way
that's everything.
Van Damme got everything that he brought back with him,
Yeah,
right?
They'd have to send back like a forensic team.
Yeah, right? Which would have been cool.
like a scrubber, like
Yeah.
a cleaner.
There's got to be a forensic team.
If you from the
But that's like a
future-
one-line thing that I would have loved
Yeah.
to like hear when he
Yeah.
got back
Yeah.
for like a debrief.
Yeah, send a team to scrub his car and his house.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah, take his fingerprints out of there. Like,
you from the future came back and handed you a piece of technology that didn't exist yet?
yes.
what do you do with it?
What is it?
I don't know.
Is it like a sex thing?
I mean, it could be. Like, it's just,
Like,
it's clearly,
it really the gambit here.
but it's not only that it's a future thing. It like it employs technology
Mm-hmm.
in a way that it builds whatever it is that
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Okay.
Would you even be able to profit on that or like gain anything with that? Like the T-1000 or the Judgment Day thing, how they formed Skynet
Yeah.
based on the hand and the chip.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Like if me from the future came back and was like, here's this like cool remote, like that doesn't exist yet.
You should be a billionaire with this.
Yeah, I'm like, but
how?
How?
Yeah. Well, that was one of my other talking points. Is they say outside the house in '94 in Act 3, the last time we go back to the house.
Yeah.
If you don't kill him, you don't go back. Like, how many billionaires do you think are goons who got left behind? Like, how many, or like Elon's
Yeah.
like some shitty little businessman from
Yeah.
like 2036.
Yeah.
And he goes back in time and he mouths off to his goons
And
one
they're
too
like,
many
"Fuck
times.
you."
And they slap him around and they leave without him. And he's like, okay,
I'll show you.
I've got to infiltrate Google. He's not good enough for Google.
Yeah.
I've got to infiltrate not good enough. PayPal. Okay.
PayPal. I got
PayPal. Like, is there like a good electric car manufacturer who's not run by an evil person that he just wiped
There
out?
used
It's
to,
like-
yeah, there used to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was gonna be.
We don't know though.
Yeah.
No, we'll never know.
But it's like you said, like I always laugh. The Bruce Timm. Yeah, Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
His Justice League, they had Vandal Savage goes back to World War II and he's got a laptop. And I'm like, what's it going to connect to? Like, he's got an Excel sheet. Like, this
Yeah.
changes the whole war because he's got a word processor.
Can he
Yeah,
even
like-
charge it?
Yeah, or it's like, he's like, oh, I've got battle plans. It's like, microchips aren't invented. Like, what vehicles are you bringing back to the past that they can even make that would do this? Because and that's to your point, Joe. It's like, here, this allows instant teleportation. All you have to do is figure out how to build the receptacles that
Yeah.
I put you there. But this is the thing.
Fucking
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Like, who am I
Okay,
supposed to take
what
this?
are you talking about?
Oh, I take this to Joey? Like, Aaron, what should I do with this? Like,
You're a nutcase that showed up at like Ford
yeah.
with a
Yeah.
thing like, get out of here.
Well, this is like
It's taped together.
there's a comic I read recently, and the idea is that aliens did come in area and are in Area 51, but it was like a super intelligent alien supercomputer, and we shot it down because we
Didn't understand
didn't
it.
have anything. Like, it couldn't connect. We didn't have satellites. We didn't have the internet. We didn't. It's like, haha, I'll take you over, and we're just so primitive that we're
Yeah.
like, we're invincible, idiot. You can't do shit to us.
That's good.
Same idea.
Yeah.
If you brought me a future hair dryer, I'd be like,
that
okay,
could all it would be.
Yeah.
And it would have stuff in it that is a technological marvel today.
yeah. Will you bring me the Back to the Future self-drying coat? And I'm like, awesome, I'll wear this.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what to do.
It's just
like, do
crumpled
we
in the bottom of your
like
closet.
do we even have technology to make this right now? Like,
You can't even do the joke where you go, operator, Tommy Hilfiger, please, because we don't even do that anymore.
yeah, you can't even do it.
Like,
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would just be like, oh, that's gonna look cool in the garage.
Oh, nice, cool. This will probably come up later.
yeah, you could just post it on social media and then wait for the corporate goons or government
To
stooges
find you?
come
Yeah.
to find you and murder you for it.
Future you comes back 10 years later and you look even worse. And you're like, did you even do anything with it? What was I supposed to do with it? What was I supposed to fucking do?
I've been obsessing about this thing for the last 10 years.
He's like, you idiot. They've caught up to this technology now. You fucked up. I'm so poor.
I love time travel shit, and I love that it doesn't make sense. It makes it so fun, and like there's a level of seriousness that makes conversations like this is like just as entertaining to me as the movie, because like you can't cover all the bases.
It's impossible.
The best you can do is not explain anything and
Yeah.
just be like, you're along for the ride.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how
Yeah.
it all works.
Yeah.
But this movie,
Does a little too much and a little too little.
it does. Yeah. It threads no needles. It just is like on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, you have Primer where it's like we're gonna logic this out,
yeah.
and then you have Looper where it's like we're gonna get you invested enough in the characters that you're not gonna care.
Like that's the plot
Yeah.
device. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then Timecop is like, Neither.
Neither one, guys.
Splits, and we're only going to do them twice.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna front load it. It's like
Yeah.
you're in.
Guys, I have 2 words for you. Future knives, okay? That's what we got.
What if that's part of the future knife powers? You can block everything, and it just draws it to it like magnets.
I will think about that knife fight for the rest of my life. It haunted me for days. Like, since I watched it, I was just like, that was so bad.
so embarrassing.
So profoundly bad. Like, if that ended up on that fight choreographer's reel, they never worked again.
Like, okay. So I'm gonna, as all things, anytime me and Kyle are on a podcast together, I'm gonna bring this back to Commando.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
I completely lost it when they were in the mall the first time,
Yeah.
and it pans over to the bad guys watching them from the second level
Yes.
at their fashion. I lost it. I could not stop
Yeah.
laughing. Like, not
Yeah.
since Bennett and Commando
Yeah.
has costuming let down the goons this badly. But also at the end of Commando, the knife fight it's basically the knife fight from Bad.
Yeah.
Where they like hold the knife in front of them
Yeah.
and just like
Yeah,
lunge and
yeah.
and swing, and the other guy just goes, whoa!
Yeah.
Okay. That's better than this one.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's how I'd fight. That makes sense to me, because that if someone was like, we're in a knife fight, I'd be like,
Like,
it's far
like
away.
Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones had kind of a slow knife fight in Under Siege.
Yes.
But they sold it. Like,
Yeah.
Like, there's no way Tommy Lee Jones was going to be like, okay, I'll be in a knife fight. I'm going to go prepare for it for 6 weeks.
No.
Great.
0%
Yeah.
chance.
And Van Damme woke up that day. He's like, I didn't do any of the choreography. No. You're going to shoot close. You're going to cut
Yeah.
around me.
The other guy definitely showed up. He's like, I did 6 weeks of
Yeah.
choreography. And Van Damme was like, I did rails all night.
All night.
There is no way that I'm learning
I've been
this.
stretching my calves for the later part.
I've just been working glutes.
Yeah, for the splits that they're going to use in the trailer.
I'll tell you what, you stick that knife in my butthole, I'll work it
Well,
around.
also, this is the same year as Street Fighter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
What a year for Van
and there's a
Damme.
lot of stories about him being pretty coked
Yeah,
up.
so he definitely was. That actually makes a lot of sense. If this was the same, yeah,
Yeah.
those stories of him on Street Fighter are
Yeah, this is
amazing.
6 years after Bloodsport, 2 after Universal Soldier, 1 after Hard Target, same year Street Fighter, and 1 year before Sudden Death.
Wow, what a run!
Yeah,
What a fucking run! Hard Target's awesome.
I've never seen Hard Target.
He makes a rattlesnake into a trap.
Cool.
He drops a grenade down a guy's pants, and the guy defuses it by unscrewing it like this, but then the charge between the grenade, which doesn't exist, links it, and then he blows up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hunted for sport, the most dangerous game of all.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
Van Damme.
Yeah, and Wilford Brimley's there, and he's only 30 years old.
But still looks like he's Wilford Brimley.
I don't know how old he is, but like
80.
maybe 40, but looking 80.
Yeah, somebody did a picture of like Paul Rudd today, and like, this is Paul Rudd at 54. This is Wilford Brimley at 31. Like, it was not kind of Wilford.
Poor Wilford.
Well, I mean, that's just what happens when people used to smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I think about this all the time.
It's the
How it's
Cheers
just
cast.
like we're all youthful, beautiful people because every room is not filled with smoke.
Yeah,
Every day.
and we're jammed full of preservatives.
Yeah, that's right.
Ooh, I do love that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Thanks, McDonald's.
No, I have a friend who's a food chemist, and he's a chemist for a food company,
Yeah.
but he goes, people aren't decaying right anymore because we have so many preservatives baked into us that we don't rot right. We don't rot correctly.
Weird.
In a
That's why
bad
the-
way.
In a bad way.
Okay.
Is
Because
that where the
initially
cancer
you're
comes
like,
from?
oh, that seems good.
Yeah, if we return to mummification.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's because you didn't rot right, and those pieces of you didn't fall away that they stay and then congeal and turn into cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I believe that
try-
science.
Sentient mobile cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just switched out.
Damn.
Anyway, Timecop. That's been another episode of Yesterday's Tomorrow Today. You can find more at yestomtoday.com, which will link you to our Patreon
Yeah.
with a bonus segment.
Yes.
Most with the guest. Almost all this season, I think, have been with the guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got nothing to do. I'll stick around.
Nice.
Nice. So we have another segment that's 20, 30 minutes tangentially related to Timecop if you want to throw a couple extra bucks towards the show.
Do it.
And
Get your mom's purse.
Steal her purse.
Do it.
Go back in
you
time.
should,
Take her purse.
you should go
Come back. Give us the money.
watch Timecop.
I would
Uh,
recommend it. But yeah, you can follow us on those socials as well. Yes, Tom Today on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. Whenever I make that,
Yeah,
it'll exist
it'll
by the time
exist.
we hear. And X, Twitter, whatever the fuck that thing is. Let's just get rid of that.
Zitter.
Zitter.
It's only a matter of time before it does it itself.
But
Till
yeah.
I go back in time and stop
it.
the sale. And it's still Twitter, and everything's still terrible.
The thing is that if you stop the sale, he would be so thankful.
That's true.
That honestly would be doing him a huge favor.
That's true. You're right.
But Matt, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey guys,
Appreciate
thanks for
it.
having me.
Yeah,
What a
it was a good
pleasure.
time. I think this was a perfect movie to have Matt on.
Yeah.
His expertise.
Absolutely.
With time crimes.
Time crimes. Your expertise in time crimes and knife fights.
Yes, the knife fights particular. I need to go back and watch the
We're gonna watch it together as a
We
family. after.
absolutely have to watch it because you will be like, how did I fucking miss this?
Yeah, I just remember the splits. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I've been Joey Reinish.
Comic Vey.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.